See if I can get this. Got a 2010 Camaro. Customer requests me to do quite a bit. It has a check engine light. It has the fans are just blaring. Complaining about misfires. He wanted me to do just a lot of aimless things to it. A tune-up, which consists of spark plugs and some other things I'd imagine. But typically when people say tune-up, they just want spark plugs. He wanted the tune-up. He wanted, well, the spark plugs. And mind you, all the coils have been replaced. They got Duralast coils on here. Getting more information. Again, the fans are going off. So he wanted to change the thermostat. Could be correct with that one. Don't know. He wanted to do brakes. He wanted to do... it was a couple other things. So thermostat, tune-up, and brakes. And I guess if I was supposed to just aimlessly do... It was a 2011. Aimlessly do that, I was supposed to... I guess in hopes of him... taking a shot in the dark, we're supposed to get this resolved. But that's aimless. I don't like working that way because any other mechanic's going to know you do this stuff and then it's, well, you should have said something. Because we're the professionals. Even though the customer requested. Customers never have any personal accountability. But I've been working on this stuff for years. So I'd say, look, let's pay for the diagnostic costs. Let's just go through it, see what we need to do. Because when I hear misfires and overheating, automatically I think of like, okay, potential head gasket problems, circulating problems. I mean, it's a possibility. It may just be defective spark plugs, but it came a long time ago needing what we discussed, misfires. Also, he did mention extended crank, purge valve, as I'm going after that first. So when you put gas in it, crank it up, it just don't want to start. So we have, in the misfire, depending on the circumstances, how bad this purge valve is, since it's just open to atmosphere, probably, not literally the atmosphere, but it's taking in all the gas, it's going to create a misfire. So the misfire could be resolved from just changing the purge valve. So we have coolant temperature problem, P0116, engine coolant temperature performance. The thermostat potentially has failed. The thing is with Chevys, when the thermostat has issues, it causes a temperature gauge not to work and the fans to go off. That's one of the most clear indications that there are some problems there. So here's the freeze frame data. This is just going to pretty much tell me what we got going on as far as the black box of the situation. When did everything manifest? And the snapshot it took of the values. So temperature is 210. Long-term fuel trim is at 15%. And that is on both banks, 15 to 13%. Needs to be below 10. Needs to be below positive 10 or above negative 10. So not overlooking our purge valve to be the culprit for this, because if it's trying to add 15%, it's probably detecting the vacuum leak, and it's at idle too. Short-term fuel trim don't have any accommodation. Vehicle's going 4 miles per hour, so probably just pulling off. And that's the intake air temperature sensor. So it was during the summer somewhere. It was probably a warm day, but it was already, that's pretty cool. The intake air temperature sensor for 210 degree. Up run time right here, so it was fresh. Yeah, that's what I was suspecting. All right. Calculated temps. Yep. So car was just starting off. Like probably sitting idle. Who knows? I mean, it could be a bad temperature sensor for it to be 210 degrees. The cat's to be around 230 degrees. That's cold. For a car to typically reach 210 degrees, they have to be running for a while. So the coolant temperature sensor may be defective. So we might just have to tackle that, and it might not be a thermostat problem. How many miles on this thing? Let's see here. Hood's up. I know. 150,000 miles. So we might have to look into that coolant temperature sensor. I'm gonna ignore the rest of the stuff because I have what I need. Look into the PID. What I should have done was take a screenshot. That's what I need to do. But even though this is on here, I'm recording, I'm still gonna take one anyway because we need to know the setting conditions. I'm gonna clear this because we can pretty much emulate. The car just got here not too long ago, but it's warm still, so it sat for a while. The fan's been going off, so it should be pretty cool. Fuel tank pressure sensor, we might get that because of the EVAP issue. Engine oil pressure sensor. God, this car got so much stuff. And usually with Chevys, I mean, the individual components will just fail. Let me see if there's an engine oil pressure sensor. I'm probably gonna overlay up. No, it's not gonna show me any PIDs for that. I'm gonna clear all this stuff out. Oop, what I do? I want to escape. Clear all this out. Then we'll go into the live data and see if we see 210 degrees or somewhere around about that. And again, the fan's been on. They've really been on. Let's go to engine cooling. Nope. It's the engine. I just want to go in there. And so the engine coolant temperature is 158 degrees. Cleared the code. The gauge is working. I don't know why Chevy did that. That's just crazy. That is an important feature to know if your engine's overheating. If it's overheating, just allow the gauge to work. So, the coolant temperature seems to be normal. One thing I would want to check and make sure the temperature is fine. But that's weird that the engine coolant temperature is 158. But during our initial startup, it was 210. The cat temps were low. What's the cat temperatures? Let's go down. Maybe C, D. It's probably not be in there. I think I probably overlooked it. Yeah, because I need to go into the emissions part. It's not going to show me that in the engine. Calculate it. Yep, here they are, right here. Okay. So probably based off the location, you know, the temps are pretty low. Now the sensors may sit pretty far from the cats. That's probably what it is. Because I've seen some around 1,000 degrees and 136. You know, it ain't a lot, but for a cat, I mean, it's definitely not a lot. So these are definitely post cats. All right, let's check the coolant level first and look at our engine oil pressure. Look at that. Yeah, we need to replace that oil pressure sensor. Let me start it up real quick. Let's go back to. Ugh. Let's go to misfire. Let's see if we can find the cylinder that's misfire. Misfire counts on 1, 6. Misfire. Misfire count on 1 and 6. Calculated temperature. So why did I must have overlooked that. I definitely overlooked that PID. That is, I make mistakes. So the temperatures are going up. It smells rich. misfire on 1 and 2. No, 2 and 6. Let me power brake it and see what happens. Feels good. I think we just need to go to I think our problem is going to wind up lying inside that EVAP, the purge valve. So I think that's where we should go. See if we can command that. Alright, here we are under the hood. I'm going to let the car cool down, then I'll check the coolant level. But we're going to go to the EVAP. And the EVAP is going to reside right here. Here's the purge valve. These are just notorious for failing. They are just crap. They're going to fail anyway. They work very hard. They work tens of thousands of times a day. So here's our line. Follow that over. So we need to be. Let me see if I can get my light to come on. Now, I can command this to come on, or I can take it off and blow through it, and or I can just do both, because the natural state of this should be off, like it should be closed. So I get this off. One-handed. Pull it off there. I should have. There we go. I wonder. I can pull this off here. Did I do it right? Nope, wrong way. Okay. I wonder if it's wet. Nope. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Ugh. Oh gosh. Tastes like gas. I can't blow through it. So if I can't blow through this, then I might probably just need to commit. It might just be an intermittent problem. It'll work when it wants to work. Let's see if we can command it on, and let's see if it works. Let me get my camera stand. Now, I could just test the state of health with like the oscilloscope. I mean, that would be a wise thing to do. Just analyze the waveform. I could take that route, but right now I would prefer to be less invasive. Does that make any sense? Let's see if we can control this. Let's see what happens. I'm already in the PID. Not PID, in the place where I can command the purge valve. I can probably let that do its thing. Let's just go up. I'm going up 20%, 30%, 40, 50. Oh, it shut down. Let me go down. 40. Yeah, it just failed. Alright, so being that the purge valve failed now, let me pull it back off and blow through it and see its state, because again, they'll get stuck. Should have just left it pulled off. Yep, I can blow right through it. Let me beat on it. No, that didn't work. Better tool. There you go. It came back to life. So this needs to be replaced. I am kind of curious. Oh, that failed again. I am very curious to see what a waveform looked like, but I'm sorry guys, I just don't have the mental fortitude to want to go through that right now. I don't feel like it. There's just a lot of equipment. I got a lot of other stuff. Time is money. So we know we need one of these, and I can just about guarantee you this is going to fix our misfire problem. And again, the biggest thing he stated was when he put gas in it, only when you put gas in it, it's hard to start. Okay, but just for the sake of being proactive, let's pull a spark plug out, see what one of the plugs look like, and based off of what we know about spark plugs, we can see if it's firing adequately. I want to try this one, but it's probably dumb for me to pull that one off because it just doesn't look like it's accessible. I need to go somewhere where it's accessible and I gotta fight. I'm gonna go to this rear bank. Well, this rear one here, I don't even know what bank this is. I'm no Chevy guy. And again, these are all Duralast spark plugs, coils. They have the D on it. Something had to be in the way. Get out of the way. Carnation. What is this? Is this glue? This came from a used car lot. They put sealant in there. Why would they put glue in there? This is RTV. Man. This is why you shouldn't buy cars from side lots, man. I tell you what. Use a 5/8 for the spark plug. Put this back in there. My magnet is behind me, and I can't get my magnet fast enough, which I just should have went and got anyway. Ooh, it's hot. So, does he need spark plugs? No. And the reasons being is because usually you can tell by the age because of the porcelain here, where they're stamped in. You'll see the compression seeping through this. That's a good indication of age. There's no compression seepage. You see like a flash bang going up towards the boot. The compression would typically seep through the insulation and the porcelain and the metal. Spark plug looks fine. I'm not putting plugs in here because you don't need them. So if I would have did what he told me, I would have made some easy money. But because of the volume of work, it's not about the money. I just want to fix the complaints so we can move on with actual repairs. Put this back. So when they change the coils, they change the spark plugs too. And again, I can about guarantee you, once we fix this one problem, we'll fix other problems, such as the misfire complaint, the starting up complaint. We'll start that by hand. I think the car should be cool enough. Now check the coolant. Check the hose first. It's not. I'm gonna pull this cap off real slow. This is totally not recommended. Totally not. Keep my downward pressure here. Don't follow me. Look at that. It is hot. Let me see the pressure going on. Just as long as I can keep like 20 pounds of downward pressure, ain't gotta worry about it shooting up. It is diluted heavily. It's got plenty of water in it. There's no real color to it. Let's see what this cap look like. The cap is not going to cause any problems, but the cap can definitely be replaced. What is this powdered stuff in here? Now, some of the coolant, like the Dex Cool can create like a powder residue. And it's cool, but I'm not sure if this is, I don't know, because of where it came from. I'm not sure if it's stop leak, like, or like head gasket repair, sealing, or whatever. So one good way of telling if the head gasket's blown on a car with the complaint of misfire and overheating is to let the car, run the car for a while, let it sit, and let the pressure build up in the coolant system. So let the pressure build up in the coolant system, let it sit, let the pressure exchange take place, because remember, like the soda can experiment, if you take a hot soda can or whatever, if I recall, put it on some cold water, it'll collapse. Same thing with the combustion chamber. It'll cool and it'll suck, create a vacuum and suck that coolant in there, and the pressure will push in there also, because it's not competing against combustion chamber pressure. So the coolant jacket is like 15 psi. The combustion chamber now has no pressure in there. That was like 180 psi. So it cools, like hypothetically, I think hypothetically it cools, then it sucks that in. But honestly, it's likely just going to be the pressure differences trying to equalize. There's more pressure on the outside of that combustion chamber than it is on the inside. So that coolant is going to go inside the chamber. So when you start the car up, it's going to misfire, because now you have uncombustible fluid. It's not volatile. And well, during initial startup, it isn't volatile, and it's going to create a misfire. But this car didn't do that. I let it sit for a while, didn't misfire, so I'm not going to worry about the head gasket. I'm worried about just that purge valve fixing a couple of its complaints. Again, the poor startup, misfires, that's going to be fixed, and yeah, just those two. So we don't need spark plugs, so we can knock a couple of those off. So just changing one thing will eliminate 3 other complaints that he had. And what happened as far as the misfire during the initial startup, when you pump gas in there, fuel vapors, because we saw that purge valve is stuck. It just creates a vacuum leak for one. That's our fuel trims being positive, because it wants to add, was it 15% of fuel, because it thinks it's a vacuum leak because of that valve up there. It's also going to be rich, because when you put gas in there, those fuel vapors are going inside the plenum here. So it's a couple things that's going on when you have a bad purge valve. Couple things. So we just need to fix that, and likely he probably do need a thermostat, but I'm gonna look for coolant leaks. So for this video, we're just gonna fix that one part right there, and if anything else is interesting, we'll just go from there. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. This was supposed to be informative. I went and got a EVAP purge valve from O'Reilly's. If y'all know, I frequently patronize O'Reilly's Auto Parts. This is a standard motor, standard product, and is standardly going to fail within a year. So we'll see what happens. The part number CP4. Let me see if it'll CP479. CP479. Here's the old one. So it's working now, but it definitely was broke before. So we saw that it stopped working. We bidirectionally controlled it. It failed. Here we are. You have to forgive me. I'm taking a long intermission. So here we are. We have a new purge valve. We probably could do some basic tests and do like a purge seal test and monitor the fuel tank pressure sensor. And because that was a code before, but if there's a problem with the fuel tank pressure sensor, then it could have been because of this here not allowing the tank pressure sensor to actuate or move properly, or change in value. So let's bidirectionally control this. I think. Let's see here. Because before it wouldn't go beyond 50% and it shut down. Let's see what it does now. So I'm gonna get log back in here. Just gonna control the purge valve. Let's move this camera over. Let's see. I don't know if I can get both of those in there. Sounds raggedy already. I'll go to 50. It's funny to slow down, but it's just probably staying open longer. 70%. Yeah. Just staying open longer. And then it's gonna stay open all the way. 100%. I'll go back down. Speed up. It's gonna speed up even more. Cool. Sound like a functioning unit. Let's see if we can do a purge seal test in the vehicle. This car's loud. Kids and their exhaust systems. Let's go to active test. EVAP purge seal. So it should close the vent valve and allow me to control the purge valve. And we should be able to see vacuum get pulled in the fuel tank. What's the fuel tank pressure, fuel tank level, remaining fuel pressure sensor right here. So we should see that drop in value. What's up with that? Okay, now we went to a negative pressure. Imagine it'll be more than that. It should climb. Okay, there it is. Probably because of the amount of gas that it has in it. Plus I'm only like 40%. Let's go up to 80. Let's see what its threshold is. Okay, it's running funny. Let's see if we can seal it. Not venting. Let's try this again. Watch that climb back up to 0 real slow. That's really good. Look how slow it's climbing back up. That is really good. So what this tells me is that there's nothing wrong with the fuel tank pressure sensor, because I like how this is slowly climbing. This is fixed. So what's next? The next thing I need to do is check this overheating problem. It's late and I don't want anybody, being waking up or anything because of how loud this car is. So I'm gonna let this sit because this issue is resolved. I'm gonna try to sell the oil pressure sensor also, so we get a lot of these codes knocked out. I know this one right here is going to be resolved. Let's go back to the oil pressure sensor. There should be an engine. Let's go to live data. It should be in here, I'd imagine. I did not read anything else. Engine oil pressure. ABCEF. Is it just oil pressure or engine oil? Fuel rail pressure. bet you I probably overlooked it. I know I did. Yeah, I know I overlooked it. So yeah, that needs to be replaced. That's not making 127. I'm not going to get a standard product for the oil pressure sensor. I'm going to go to AutoZone and get the GM brand, because I'm not going through what I went through last time with that truck. I did a video on that a while ago. Put a standard oil pressure sensor in there, didn't work right off the floor. Brand new, out the box, didn't work. So going to go to AutoZone and get a factory GM one. If he's okay with that, and we should knock out another check engine light. Other than that, we wound up looking at inspecting the purge valve again, because we had the misfire. Shut up. So we had the misfire going on, and vacuum leaks will definitely cause misfires. So I'm just correlating the complaint with what he had going on, especially the fuel complaint. The fuel complaint, when he add fuel, the car would not start, and because it's saturated with fuel, once he fills it up, because that purge valve would fail and stay open, it would put fumes and put potentially raw gas in there, potentially, and that would cause the car to be hard to start. It would cause a misfire because it's rich, and that's where we got our misfire codes from. So despite it working, sometimes you gotta go through different tests. You can blow it if you don't have all this fancy equipment. I could have done like multiple different things to prove to you that the orifice or the pintle was stuck open, but we heard it. It was obvious. I hit it. It wanted to work here and there, but it was pretty obvious. So this just couldn't operate over 50%. So we got that complaint resolved. It doesn't need any spark plugs. We did a visual inspection of the plug. Plugs look great. Other than that, man, this car's fixed. Again, so I don't know if I told you the part was about $60. It was less than that. It's around $60 from O'Reilly's. We'll see how long this lasts. If I gotta do a warranty replacement, which I just got a feeling I'm gonna have to, nothing standard. Standard. It's the standardized failure. Put it that way. But I should have went somewhere else probably and got it, but I'm rolling the dice here. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, head over to show some more work. See you on the next one.